Hello everyone, I'm CoolGuy, welcome back. I'm very excited for today's review. This is one of the better overall seraph weapons. For the Crucible, it's becoming a top pick. I'm going to go in depth as to why. I'm going to give my reasonings, my thoughts, but I'm also going to keep it level-headed. There are things to learn about these lightweight shotguns after the shotgun changes. There are strengths, there are weaknesses. I want to showcase those so you can actually see them in-game with what's going on. For PvE, it has some good qualities. It doesn't have something like a 1-2 punch, but it has something like Trench Barrel. It also works with the Warmind cells. There's some decent combinations you can get going. One of the main topics today, as you saw in the title, is just how sneaky good these lightweight frames are for the Crucible. With the cone changes on the shotgun, I want to uncover what you're getting with these and what the shotgun brings to the table in a PvP match. They're in a lot better spot than players think. Today's review is covering the Solar Energy 80 RPM lightweight frame shotgun, the 7th Seraph CQC-12. It has something that no other shotgun has currently. Now, that's going to be changing soon because there's a quest going on right now for a weapon that can do similar things. And that particular weapon on paper looks to be one of the best PvP weapons in the game. They're going to have similar perks, but the CQC-12 still has some advantages. How much? We're going to find out in time. And as for this new weapon, I'm going to let you know when I talk about it, give you a timestamp. That way you can skip ahead. If you don't want spoilers, you can just fast forward a little bit. But moving on, we have these lightweight frames, and a lot of players use these. The most popular hand cannon frame is lightweight. We have spare, we have dire. It states that you get superb handling, move faster when this weapon is equipped. So from what I've seen and researched and tested, it's about a 6.5% bonus, about 2 on the stat. That doesn't seem like much, but it is. When you switch up to a lightweight frame, you feel it, you see it. It's the idea of movement, the idea of closing gaps. With throwing on that mobility bump on the lightweight, you also have the fire rate, 80 RPM. You can move a little bit better, shoot a little bit faster. And obviously, one of the biggest competitions is the aggressive frame, Astral, Mindbenders, and Mindbenders especially because it shares the same spot, and also another one later on in the week. But I do want to note that I'm not going to be here today to try to change your mind or anything like that. I just want to show you how close they really are, and that way you can make the choice in your loadout. And if you've noticed on my channel, I don't really get into shotguns. I, like many, take a lot of Fallout's research and apply it. I do my tests, and a lot of it does kind of echo what Fallout says, but my reasoning, my philosophy is that with shotguns, it's really hard to say that something has a real consistent one-hit kill range with spread shotguns. Because when you find that area, say it's 7 meters, 8 meters, whatever it is, in a gunfight, there are level changes. There's jumping, there's sliding, you jump, they slide, you aim down, they aim up, you get flinched, you hit mid-body mass, you hit their legs, you hit crit on a pellet. There's so much RNG, and then you have the actual spread of the pellets being RNG. Ultimately, you have this general generic range, but at the end of the day, the shot's either going to kill them or it's not. It's very black and white in that aspect because there are so many variables. From what I've tested and then reference to Fallout, Drew, and some of the other tests, everyone can agree that shotguns got their range brought in a tad bit with this recent update for the cone changes. These aggressive frame shotguns like Mindbenders hit at a near consistent 7 meters. That's a good range to say. It's going to get kills a lot of the time on a stationary target. It's going to get kills in gunfights with movement. And then there are going to be times when the barrel is just stuffed right on them and you don't get the one-hit kill. It's just RNG. But that 7 meters is a really good range. Now, higher ranged roll aggressives can get up to 8.5 meters. And this is the max end, having all the range perks, opening shot, the works. And when you get that 8.5 meter kill, the stars really align. You had good pellet spread, everything landed, it all landed, you got the kill. So with the aggressive frames, 8 on the long end, 8.5, 7 on the fair end, and 6.5 on the very low end. So we're gonna have that 7 average consistent. These lightweight shotguns are also getting kills at 7 meters. And this is on the roll that I have, and it's nowhere near max range. This is a 60 range stat. So these can get those kills too, just like the aggressives. 6.5 to 7 is gonna be that comfortable spot. 7.5 is gonna be on the very high end. That's like their RNG. I map someone with the lightweight frame. Doesn't have the range masterwork, and I'm getting a 7 meter kill right here. So as far as setting this thing up, for PvP, the setup I recommend, there are a couple ways to go about it. Barrel-wise, there are the standouts as far as rifled versus full choke. On these frames, I do prefer rifled, but just know that full choke is literally just as good. Both are kind of equal. I do feel more consistency with rifled. I have another shotgun that I've been using that isn't quick draw vorpal, but it does have rifled. I think now we're at a point with what they changed that these two are just going to be to the player, because a lot of players feel more consistency with full choke. After those 2 barrels, it's going to fall to corkscrew and small bore. Both have a purpose. Small bore is a 3 stat point behind rifled, and corkscrew is the handling barrel. There's a certain way to set up the shotgun with a handling barrel, but for the magazine, PvP, there are 2 top options. The first top option is accurized rounds for +10 range. Then after that, it goes to light mag for +5 range. The second top option is going to be Assault Mag for increased fire rate. Now, if you want Assault Mag or Rifled or Light, it's going to depend on what you want out of the shotgun. Both of them work, but you set them up different ways. We'll get to that in a moment. In the final 2 nodes, there are 4 perks that fall in each node. PvP-wise, in Node 1 for the Crucible, Quick Draw just wins, in my opinion. That's what I recommend, especially if you don't have a Quick Draw shotgun in that energy category. The next perk option is going to be Slide Shot. Slide Shot can work if you want it, but it's going to kind of change up the makeup of the shotgun, and we're going to get all that in a moment. In the second perk node for PvP, Vorpal Weapon, increased damage against supers, because when a player is in their super, they get damage reduction. And to see the damage, a regular aggressive frame versus a super does 11 per pellet. A Vorpal lightweight like the CQC-12 does 11 per pellet, so they do the same exact pellet number. And of course, this is because Vorpal's helping it out. As an enemy player's closing in on you, you just get a couple headshots. For some, just a headshot and a body shot. Then as they're trying to close you down, you can follow it up with a shotgun. For the rolls, Rifled Barrel or Full Choke, Range Masterwork, Accurized Rounds with Quick Draw or Vorpal. The second roll is going to be the same, but Assault Mag instead of Accurized Rounds. And if you go Assault Mag, you need to try to hit the Range Masterwork and a good barrel. And that's simply for fire rate and doing the things like we talked about with Vorpal Weapon. You're shooting even faster to double tap a super, because this Vorpal shotgun can 2-tap a super, but most of the time you're going to get some clean primary shots into them and then pull out the shotgun to finish them off as they're closing in on you. But if you want Slide Shot instead of Quick Draw, you want to lean more towards Corkscrew for the barrel and then a Handling Masterwork. Then you can start adding on targeting, dexterity perks to get it a little bit more snappy. This setup can work, but I do feel Quick Draw has more overall utility, and it's going to come up clutch a little bit more, because the frame itself has high inherent handling, and you're just adding more to it to kind of simulate Quick Draw a little bit. It's going to be up to you. And when you start comparing the aggressive frame and the lightweight frame, the aggressive frame will always have a meter on it, always, no matter what. Could be up to 1.5 meters, almost 2 meters, end of story. And to some players, that's all they really need to know, because nothing else matters. But with what you're losing in that meter and a half that the aggressive has, you're gaining in other categories. These do hit at 7 meters. They're consistent range. The aggressive frame's consistent range. But with the lightweight frame, you also have the closing speed. Your fire rate is much faster. So in that 7 to 10 meter range in CQC gunfights, as you guys are around each other, and you both get RNG pellet spread with your shotguns, let's say they have a Mindbender or an Astral, and you have the CQC-12, you're going to have the follow-up shot on them, always. The fire rate and the distance this thing can get is key. And here's a clip of that fire rate. And remember, the Vorpal is 11 per pellet. Sometimes it's going to be 10 because it rounds up. But it's the same damage as an aggressive frame would do without Vorpal. So when supers are moving, an aggressive frame can't do this. It's just those quick shots back to back. With the frame itself, again, you have that high inherent handling, so meaning it's going to be able to aim down sights faster, way faster than an aggressive frame, so that's for ADS, coming out of Quick Draw, and that's for the knee slide shotgun. It's just got really good handling. So again, you lose that potential meter and a half, but you're going to be gaining movement, handling, and fire rate. That's the real trade-off. As I was streaming and talking with some of you on stream, I was using the Top Tree Arc Strider with this shotgun and the Bombardiers. Remember, Top Tree Arc Strider is that after dodging, you get Deadly Reach, a more ranged melee. Combination blow, and killing an enemy with your melee grants health regeneration, and once you get that kill with your melee, it resets your dodge. So I would go in, land a shotgun shot, and either that was going to kill them or not. That's that RNG factor that I talked about at the beginning, but I always follow up with the Deadly Reach melee. I would get that dodge back, I would dodge again, just dropping these little mini nukes everywhere because of Bombardiers. It was very fun. But as you start playing with a shotgun more, you get a feel for the range. These are just a tad shorter than a Mindbenders or an Astral, so a follow-up melee build in the very beginning using one of these is very strong. As you're getting accustomed to the range, like the Syntheseps, Top Tree Arc Strider, the Aspects, Felwinter's Helm, anything that revolves around a melee. But once I saw just how close the aggressive frame and lightweights are, I main this one now. I have over 700 kills in the Crucible with it, because I like my chances versus a super. I need to land a couple shots as they come in, or it does shoot fast enough that if I use my movement correctly, I can just 2-tap them. And if you go back and watch my Antaeus video, I was exclusively using this shotgun to shut down supers. The majority of the video was just me running at someone with the Antaeus ward, sliding into them, shotgun beatdown with bottom tree striker knockout. So it does pair really, really well with melee builds starting off. And if you haven't used it yet, or maybe you have, like, it does have some very surprising cleanup ranges. It has some surprising one-hit kill ranges. Like, some of them feel 7.5, 8 meters. Like, it feels like an aggressive shotgun sometimes. It's just a lot better and hits a little bit further than players think. But now's the time I want to start getting into this quest. It's on the screen right now. I'm sure most, if not all of you, know about it and have seen it. But if you haven't, if you try to keep spoilers away, again, you just kind of fast forward. I know a lot of you do everything in your power to stay away from it, and I respect that. Go ahead and go there right now. But the new quest line in the database, it's giving the Fellwinter's Light Shotgun from D1. It brings a new frame that was an old perk, Shot Package, a more unified pellet spread. In game, we're gonna see what that means. Maybe less RNG, maybe no RNG on the spread, maybe a consistent spread, we don't know. The shotgun's gonna be coming with full choke, accurized, and the choices are either slide shot or quick draw, and then opening shot or vorpal. On paper, this does look like the shotgun to rule them all. It has the same setup perks as the CQC-12. It has the same perk selection, slide shot vorpal, quick draw vorpal. So right then and there, same perks as the CQC-12. But it also has the golden 2. It has quick draw, opening shot with that shot package frame. You're also gonna have the ability to switch mid-round. Most are gonna be running quick draw, opening shot, and in between rounds, say the other enemy team has a super, you switch opening shot to vorpal. It has a ton of utility. We're gonna see how it performs. If it has a constant 8.5, 9 meter range, it's going to be hard to go against. It's going to be hard for any shotgun to compare to that that's a non-slug shotgun. We just need to see how it performs, because again, on paper, it looks like the one to rule them all. Remember though, just like the aggressive frames now have that meter and a half more, and Fellwinter could have up to 2 meters more. They're always going to have that on the CQC-12, but the CQC is always going to have that frame. It's always going to have that fire rate. It does have its strengths too. And even with all of its strengths, it could turn out that Fellwinter's is just plainly better. I can see that happening. Real quick for PvE, this has some Warmind cell generation. For the perks, it's the other two that stick out that we weren't using. Lead from Gold, autoloading holster. A Lead from Gold shoddy is really good when heavyweight comes up. In the other node, we have Trench Barrel or Shield Disorient, then we have Vorpal. All of them work well, any combination. To me, in higher level content though, the enemies won't really let you get close to them, and when you do, there's a stomp mechanic. I do have a Lead from Gold Vorpal that I have been enjoying. I believe that it gives you Lead from Gold, Shield Disorient, and mostly after you level up your pass, you're just going to be getting these randomly after games. That's kind of how this is working out. If anyone knows of a really good way to get these, sound off in the comment section. Another perk option is going to be autoloading holster with Trench Barrel, and some of you are really going to value that combination and this shotgun in PvE. It can do well, but I feel it's just kind of limited by the activity. Like if you're out doing the Seraph Towers right now, it's going to do well, but I wouldn't have any faith going into a solo dungeon. I really wouldn't. But that's not really its fault though. In conclusion here, I wanted to show what I see with the lightweight frames in PvP. They're a lot closer to the aggressive frames than players think. They shoot faster, they're more snappy, you move better, but yes, they always have and always will fall that meter and a half short. Strengths and weaknesses. And again, if you find that 1 meter and a half is going to be really important when that RNG lands, that's perfectly okay. On the other hand, if you haven't played with one of these, its kill range does feel fairly similar to the aggressives, all the ones that we've talked about, but it does have some other benefits to them. We also have that other reward coming, and even though it is coming, the CQC-12 still has all of its strengths. It can't take those away. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and as you saw in the lower third earlier, I am partnered with Scuff, and my link's down below. Use code COOL at checkout for a discount. What do you think about the CQC-12? What's your experience with it in PvE, PvP? Does it shine or does it fall short? Let's talk about it down below. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.